Were you surprised that Schottenheimer was fired? Was he a scapegoat?
I think scapegoat is the perfect term. I've talked about this in a few other radio shows that I've been on recently, that I think when you just look at the way things played out the last couple of months, there was a lot of different things at play here. I don't think Russell Wilson was playing good football
No.
for most of that stretch. So certainly the quarterback's got to be held accountable. I think Pete Carroll was meddling a little bit into the offense, although the narrative that they suddenly started running the ball a bunch again is completely not true. Brian Schottenheimer was still dialing up a bunch of pass plays for Russell Wilson the last 2 months. It just wasn't working like it was at the beginning of the season. And teams started to play two deep coverages more against them. And it just didn't seem like the Seahawks were able to make adjustments. I don't think that's all on Brian Schottenheimer, though, because you go back and you watch the film, and there were certainly some plays that Russell Wilson had receivers open, and he just was gun shy. He wasn't getting rid of the football. So that, to me, goes back to what Pete Carroll was starting to do middle of the season. He had a couple games where Russell Wilson threw a bunch of interceptions, and he told reporters that he told Russell Wilson, hey, we got to protect the football. I think that they overcorrected a little bit. It ended up impacting Russell Wilson's performance as well. And so I do think at the end of the day, Brian Schottenheimer, the second half of the season, was still wanting to wing the ball around the field. And I don't know that Pete Carroll appreciated that, because Carroll said several times in the second half, we got to get back to running the football. And they just were never able to really do that. There was not a concerted effort to really emphasize that ground game. And it ended up being something that I think really hurt this offense down the stretch. They said there were philosophical differences that led to Brian Schottenheimer leaving Seattle. To me, that has to be at the cusp of it, is the fact he wanted to throw the ball more with his star quarterback, and Pete Carroll wanted to go back to a more old school approach. And so there certainly were some reasons that you could consider firing him that were justified. But I think when you consider how good the offense was,
Yeah.
all 3 seasons that he was calling plays, it's understandable, too, why some might be a bit baffled why they decided to make that move and now go to Shane Waldron.